Okay, so we are going to continue our coverage over Spawn for Spawn Sundays, where we actually do pick up with Spawn number 48. Now, when it comes to Spawn number 48, we do pick up with Sam and Twitch. Now, remember, Sam and Twitch used to be two police officers working for the NYPD. Unfortunately, they were fired because they were trying to bring down their boss, Sheriff Banks. Now, luckily, they were able to bring their boss down. Unfortunately, though, it only happened after they got fired. Now, when it came to their boss, they had learned that their boss, Banks, was working alongside Jason Wynn. They hired a child serial killer to go after somebody in politics. Either way, when it came to Banks, he was brought down. Matter of fact, he killed himself. Either way, after that is now our two characters, Sam and Twitch, trying to live a new life, becoming private investigators, and they were able to find an office. The problem is the office literally sucks. Yeah, it sucks. Either way, they're happy to be there together. But then out of nowhere, a random folder appears at their door. And when it comes to this folder, it does contain a lot of information. But that information is about different people who had worked alongside with Sheriff Banks. We then jump over to Rat Alley. Now remember, Rat Alley is an area in New York where a lot of homeless people live in. But on top of that, this is Spawn's territory. But we kind of find out that the people, the homeless people, are now becoming scared of Spawn and wondering if he's good enough to actually protect them, but at the same time wondering if he could possibly kill them. They're very concerned for their friend because he has changed a lot since the earlier parts of Spawn, but at the same time, the guy has gone through a lot in very recent issues. But either way, they have no choice but to wait and see what is going to happen with Spawn. We then jump over to Spawn, and we see Spawn trying to build a prison for himself, but also for the bad guys. And what I mean by that, in recent issues, Spawn had dealt with Curse, and when it came to Curse, Curse was trying to dissect Spawn to learn more about Spawn because Curse believed that he was working for God in some kind of crazy way. Either way, when it came to Curse, he did a number to Spawn, but also Spawn's suit. Because remember, Spawn's suit is basically a symbiote. And so it went through a whole lot of trauma. And now the suit is going crazy. It's also evolving as well, but at a faster rate than usual. Because most Hellspawns don't reach the point that Spawn has when it comes to his suit. And so right now, there is a battle for control. Spawn and his suit. But at the same time, he is trying to build a prison for himself because he has no idea if he'll become too dangerous for his friends in Rat Alley. Now that is the moment where he is confronted by Kogi Astro. And when it comes to Kogi Astro, we still have no idea what's the deal with this character. All we know is that he knows a lot about Spawn and other characters. But on top of that, he keeps telling Spawn, sooner or later, you are going to lose control if you don't act right and start making your own moves. Stop getting played by the devil and God and begin to make your own moves for your betterment of your own life. And so you have Spawn just flip out because just like us, we have no idea what's the deal with Kogi Astro. And he says, tell me everything or get lost. And it's kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna step back and hold my tongue for the time being. But yeah, you need to get control of your suit. But we then check in with Wanda. Now remember, Wanda is the ex-wife of Al Simmons. After he had died, 5 years later, we come to find out she got remarried to Terry, Al's best friend, and also had a child with Terry. Either way, when it comes to Wanda, by this point in the storyline, she's about to open up a brand new building because thankfully somebody gave her a huge donation. And so with that donation, she's able to open up her brand new building. Unfortunately, she has to go through so much paperwork and she has no idea how her husband, Terry, does it when it comes to a huge amount of paperwork. And speaking of Jason Wynn, when we actually pick up with Jason, it's him right now still working in his office, still trying to gather a bunch of information about the different things going on with Jason Wynn, because he knows that Jason done a lot of dirty things and somebody has to bring him down. Now, what he does not know is that Jason is also partially responsible for the death of his best friend, Al Simmons. Either way, we also have to remember that Terry is sick. Now, we have no idea what's wrong with Terry, but every single time we see him, he's coughing, having a hard time breathing, and he is exhausted. But again, we have no idea what's wrong with him. And so we jump over to Sam and Twitch. And when we do, it's Sam and Twitch coming back to their office because they did some detective work to look over all the different information that was kept in that folder. And with them doing that, they realized that there was a whole bunch of old information they already knew about. But at the same time, there was new information as well. And with the new information, they realized that it has to be a reliable source because they also have old information that they already knew about. And some of the new they checked in on is also accurate, which means the rest must be accurate as well. But the question is, who gave them this file and what do they want them to do with this file? But getting back over to Spawn, we see Spawn meeting up with Bobby. And Bobby is one of the many homeless people in Rat Alley. But Bobby was the guy who was actually killed off and brought back to life thanks to one of those crazy adventures being with Spawn. Either way, Spawn trusts Bobby a lot, but this is Spawn telling Bobby he has to go. Not Bobby, Spawn, because Spawn is very scared of the idea that the suit is going to take over his body. If that happens, he has no idea what the suit could possibly do, which means that it could possibly kill off Bobby and the rest of the homeless people. But at the same time, Spawn's saying, a lot of different people came here looking for me, and I want to make sure that you guys are not in grave danger. And I'm tired of putting you guys in grave danger. And so I'm going to step away to protect you, but to also protect myself. And we already know he built that prison as a way to lock himself up. But to close off on Spawn number 48, we jump over to Jason Wynn. And when we do, it's Jason Wynn getting a call. And apparently, whoever is working with Jason Wynn on this phone call is getting ready to go after two different targets. And the question is right now, who are the two targets they're going after? And do those two people have a connection to Spawn? But we also get reminded that Jason Wynn is not working alone, that he's also working alongside with Violator. And now their plans are coming together. But then we have to jump into Spawn number 49. Now, when we do jump into Spawn number 49, we pick up with Spawn paying a visit to Wanda's grandmother. Now remember, Wanda's grandmother really did love Spawn a lot when he was alive and just being Al Simmons. Now after he died, she grieved a whole lot because she loved the man that was being there for her granddaughter. But either way, when Al came back to life, he would constantly pay visits to her to just see her, but to also listen to the words she had to say because she always gave him great advice. With that being said, it's Spawn telling her that he'll be gone for a while. And this is him once again trying to protect the people he cares so much for. Because again, he is so scared of the idea that the symbiote suit might take over his body and could possibly come back to the people that he cares so much for. We then jump over to Terry, and this is where we see Terry going to the doctor to get checked out to figure out what in the world is wrong with him. Why has he been sick so much lately? Except when he does go to the doctor tells him, dude, I have no idea what's wrong with you. I ran all the tests I can, but unfortunately, I can't tell you what's literally wrong with you. What I can tell you to do now is to go see another doctor that is a friend of mine, and hopefully he can run some more tests on you to hopefully figure out what in the world is wrong with you. Because right now you seem okay, your body seems okay, except when Terry leaves, Terry coughs once again. We then jump over to Spawn, and remember, he just left the home of Wanda's grandmother. Now, we already know where he was going to next. He was going to, of course, his new prison that he had built himself as a way to protect himself or to protect the ones that he loves. Except we kind of find out that prison did not work. But on top of that, something else has happened to Spawn. And the reason why I'm saying that because you have Kogi Astro just stopping by to see how Spawn is doing. Except when he does find Spawn, he realized something very horrible has happened to Spawn, and he is now literally freaking out. We then jump over to Violator. Now remember, when it comes to Violator, the reason why he hates Spawn so much because Spawn is a Hellspawn for one, but on top of that, he feels like Hellspawns should not be leaders of the army of Hell. And the reason why, because he feels like because Hellspawns are technically just human souls who were given a new chance for a new thing to do in hell, he feels like true demons should be the one to actually lead the forces of hell against the forces of heaven. Now, once he hears the idea that Spawn's suit is actually killing Spawn, he's very happy about the idea because now it seems like Spawn is a failure. And once he does go back to hell as a failure, then maybe, just maybe, Malbolgia could technically be like, you know what, maybe Violator was right. Hellspawns cannot lead my army. So it'll be Violator and his brothers who will lead my army instead. And so we then jump over to Kogi Astro. When we do, is Kogi Astro just freaking out. And the reason why, because we kind of find out the prison that Spawn made, one, did not work, but two, the suit is literally trying to kill off Al Simmons to get rid of him. And so with that happening, it's called kind of like, okay, this is bad. The suit is going to literally kill him and send him back to hell. And so you have Cog being able to help Spawn calm down, get Spawn out of his suit, but at the same time escape the makeshift prison that Spawn made. Now, this is actually a very huge moment. And the reason why, because this is where we kind of find out Kogi Astro used to be a Hellspawn. That is huge because now we know how in the world this man knows everything about God, hell, Hellspawns, and everything else because he used to be one. And then you have Al Simmons say, Kogi Astro, please help me. We then jump over to Terry, and when we do, we see Terry going to see another doctor. Now, when it comes to Terry, he is going to find out there is something else wrong with him. Unfortunately, though, I want to focus on Wanda real quick. And the reason why, because Terry has not told his wife how bad his sickness has gotten. She has no idea this man is going to see different doctors left and right. She has no idea that her husband is basically lying to her. And so when she calls his office, matter of fact, he told his assistant, if my wife calls, make sure you tell her I'm in a meeting, because he does not want to scare her at all. But this is the big moment, because you didn't have the doctor come to Terry say, I found out what's wrong with you. And I'm going to find out you have a tumor in your brain. And that is very huge to say right there. But then we kind of find out things are about to get a whole lot worse. And the reason why, because we kind of find out Cygor has arrived into New York City. Now remember, when it comes to Cygor, Cygor is a cybernetic gorilla that was made for the military. Except when it came to the military, they were hoping the brain of this cybernetic gorilla would be 80-20. 80% human brain and the 20 being a gorilla brain. Unfortunately, they got 50-50. And so right now, you have a very angry gorilla looking for one particular person. And apparently, that person is Al Simmons. And we have no idea why Cygor is looking for Al Simmons. But we're going to find out in later videos. But to close on today's video, we jump back over to Terry. Now, let's not forget, Terry just found out this man has a tumor in his brain. And so he is freaking out and wondering how in the world can he tell his wife and his daughter that he has cancer? How in the world can he do that? But either way, on his way home, that is when he once again passes out. And when he does pass out again, this time he's behind the wheel of a car. And he then crashes into a truck. And we're left to believe that something seriously bad has happened to him, because that is the moment you have Wanda get a call. And when she does get that call, it's someone telling her something seriously bad has happened to your husband. And unfortunately, we don't feel like he might not make it. And so with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.